This is Intelligence, bringing you knowledge with the power to change. Prepare yourself for unfiltered social commentary, along with cross-cultural, multi-dimensional, and unique perspectives, making for the most dynamic content you've ever experienced. With your hosts, Brennan Dunn, Charles Sherrod Jr., Damon Parrish II, and Dr. Rod Singleton. Join us as we discuss pop culture, sports, politics, and much, much more. Get ready. It starts right now.
Welcome back to another edition of Intelligence. I'm your host, Brennan Dunn. We've got our special resident guest, Quentin Broadwater, here today. How are you, Quentin?
Good, player.
All right. Short, sweet, and to the point. So we got an interesting day we're going to have here today, which is we are going to get into our current events. We don't have any guests, but we're going to have a slew of games that we're going to be playing with y'all. It's going to be interactive, so I want you guys to make sure that y'all are paying attention and working with us. First, we want to start off with there's a cop that a Jackson cop in prison after falsely alleging a black man shot her. I mean, she had evidence. Officer Cheryl Hall, she called over the police radio to say that she had been shot. She had fellow cops swarm in a dark wooded cul-de-sac in Jackson. Come to find out, she had a description, said it's a 6'3", 230-pound African-American man wearing a green shirt, black jogging pants. I mean, when I say to the T described him, come to find out, complete fabrication, complete lie.
Absolutely.
Officer was given 15 years in prison, followed by another 23 years on probation. We often say that, we always talk about it, and Damon, you probably know this as well as I do. We hear defendants and clients say all the time, man, they lied on me, man, they put that dime sack on me. And I've actually had a cop tell me before, to my face, if they keep a extra bag of marijuana on them, just in case they have somebody that they don't like, and will toss it on them just to say, you know what, you want to act this way with me, this is what you're going to get. Are you surprised by this at all?
What I'm surprised is the sentence, and I don't understand why she got so much. I mean, what was she charged with? Official oppression, or because it has to be more. The false allegation itself wouldn't be enough for a 15-year sentence. So I'm surprised by the length of time. But I'm not surprised by the action. I mean, if you guys remember Susan Smith, y'all remember Susan Smith?
South Carolina.
Yeah, your home place. I mean, she killed her 2 kids and blamed it on the black guy, and had on TV crying up and down for a black guy to come back to bring her kids back. She killed him. I mean, we've always been the go-to for he did it and come get him and come save me. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
It's frustrating that pain of us. We're not all this
Monster.
And sometimes we are really the ones who are the disenfranchised. We are actually the victims, but they'll say, well, this is really just a random incidence of this, but it happens a lot more often than people would think. The way they I've looked at police reports, and the police reports match nothing to the actual events. And people don't understand that when these police are writing these reports, they write whatever they want to. Even DWI arrests, they're saying on the police report, the suspect was swaying from side to side, slurred speech, all the things that you would have to queue up for this DWI. You go look at the video, it's like a model citizen sitting up there. And people don't understand just how much influence officers have in the demise or the future of defendants. And quite often, people that look like you and I are the ones who are the recipients of said poor behavior.
there's no way to quantify that. Like there's no way to quantify the accuracy of a report. You take a report that is full of inaccuracies and you point it out, the case gets dismissed and everybody goes about their business. Like the DA's dismissed the case, you go home and you're not going to complain. You may be guilty as shit. You get the benefit of a sloppy report, or you might be really pissed off, but you're fucking scared. If you've just been arrested for a crime you didn't commit, you just spent 3-4 days, maybe 2 weeks in jail for a crime you didn't commit. You spent the next 8 months fighting this shit. You paid out of pocket for an attorney like Brennan, or you have somebody like me who does appointed work, and now you got your freedom back. The last thing you are really gonna want to do is fight the system. You got to rebuild you lost your job. You got to rebuild your family.
Depends on what that cost me.
But even still though, like
that shit cost me $50,000. I'm gonna be hot.
Let me tell you, I had a client who was the officer said that he got assaulted by my client. He said my client beat him up. All right, cool. Black guy, white cop. And then what I found out was that cop had the cop's camera film crew in his car. So cop's film crew was in this vehicle, filmed the entirety of what happened. There was no assault. But he put in an officer's report, yeah, cop's film crew was there, but they weren't filming at the time. Like cops wouldn't film an officer getting assaulted. Like that wouldn't be like prime time. And this is right after the Dallas shooting. So this is right in the heart of police being victimized by black men. Like the cops film crew wouldn't film that. So once we dug deep and I got the actual video from the California film crew, his case got dismissed. I told my client, if you want to, you can go against them. You can file a complaint. You can pursue this. It can't be me because that's not the kind of work I do. But you can pursue this. And he was like, no. I'm done. He's like, no. I want to move on my life and move on. So.
Well, black people always get a bad rap on these type of things, and black people are always used as the litmus test for everybody else. Like, well, you got it as bad as this person, or the gay community saying, just like black people, we are oppressed. Bette Middler has come out and said, quoting a Yoko Ono song written by John Lennon. And Yoko Ono back in 1972, saying that she tweeted out, "Women are the N-word of the world and the most disrespected creatures on earth." She also says, "Fact, many white women own abused slaves right along with their husbands. Ever seen a lynching picture?" I'm sorry, that's what a Twitter user said before. So people were making comparisons to black people / women, saying that, hey, when you juxtapose women and black people, they have gone through the same type of issues, and equated the black struggle with the woman struggle. We got an all-male panel today. So what do y'all have to say about that?
This is the problem I have with feminism in general, especially with black women supporting feminism unquestionably the way they do. White women have been the beneficiaries of white supremacy since its inception, and they were not fighting for us then, but now all of a sudden they want to co-opt the black struggle and take our terminology, our language, and use it to their advantage. And I find that to be problematic. I'm glad that she said this, because now it highlights and gives us a point of argumentation to actually address this.
Do you agree with it?
Agree with what?
The fact that black women that women are juxtaposed to going through the same type of ordeal as black. Why not?
That's ridiculous. Because before they were, were black men like given a pass during slavery because of their maleness, their gender, their sex?
So you're saying that we said were black men given a pass?
Were black men given a pass during slavery because of their gender?
No.
Okay, so if you look at the hierarchy of society, white women were above black women, right?
So you're
white
saying,
women had freedom, right? White women had the...
So you're saying no matter how hard it got for a woman, there was always a row lower than that.
Yeah, I think this is a ridiculous argument. I don't think this needs to be... I don't even need to put forth that much intellectual... Like, it's not. I'm being intellectually lazy right now, because that's ridiculous.
Well, what about the argument, to play devil's advocate on this, what about the argument, a lot of... When the LGBTQ community says it, we argue back, well, you can hide your sexuality. You can hide who you are on the inside, versus a black person or a minority can't hide who they are. The same can't be said about a woman. They can't hide who they are as a woman. And arguably, when you think about what women didn't have, they didn't have the right to vote, just like black people. At some point, they may not have been beat with the same type of fervor as the black slave, but they certainly were a diminutive character within the family dynamic. They weren't allowed to really have their own say-so in anything. A man could do what he wanted to a woman at will. They had no freedom of body, so to speak. So how was that any different than the slave?
Because we're comparing the deprivation of civil rights versus human rights. So yes, but white women, along with women in general, have been deprived, even up to now, a lot of the civil rights. I mean, de jure they have it, but we know de facto they don't. But we're talking the difference between someone being treated as human chattel and being placed in bondage, being deprived of their real agency, versus a female who has been deprived of civil liberties, civil rights. That's a complete difference. I don't even know why this is not an argument.
Yeah,
this is not an argument.
It's not an argument. I just say Bette Midler, don't do that. It was a dumb quote when Lennon and Yoko Ono said it. It's dumb now. She apologized for it, and I will say this because I spent a lot of time. I was actually on Twitter when that all jumped off. Black women in mass came out and shouted her down and was like, "Nah, don't do that. You know, niggas are the niggas of the world. Period. Like, women. You don't have to play the I've been victimized just as bad as blank. Like, women have clearly, been victimized. Women clearly go through things yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
No need to compare.
But there's no need to compare. 'Cause I don't remember nobody shouting nigger at a woman while they were hanging her and lynching her and cutting the balls off and burning her. Like, you don't. People don't recognize the horror that black people have gone through in this country because it's been whitewashed, and it's been. We don't get to write our own history. You got things that are passed down from people, but I really think if people went back and saw the brutality, as it really was, they wouldn't say dumb shit like that.
So actually, I have two things I want to say real quick. This brings back to what we said of the last show, which was black people are always compared to the bottom rung. And we're always, whenever black people are mentioned in society, it's always like, we want to, don't treat us like them, like black people. We want to be better. We're always compared to it by every contest as the bottom run.
That's society's recognition that we are the bottom run.
But I'm saying, and that to me is, I'm not defending that at all, but I'm just saying, like, this is another example of how we're always just treated as just the bottom run. I actually forgot my other point.
So while you're trying to think of that, for sake of argument alone, could you argue that we are not actually the bottom rung socially, and argue that Native Americans are below us?
So,
why do we?
I'm saying for the sake of discussion, because that's what the conversation is about.
But to discuss it, and let's discuss it in an intelligent manner, like, there does not have to be a pecking order of who got done worse, who got fucked worse by colonizing.
I don't disagree with
slavery or death. Like, if you get stabbed and I get shot and we both die, well, what the fuck? Like, it's the same result.
But if there's one group,
why do you have to? Why? But why does the conversation? The conversation needs to be around trying to remedy things if you can. But I don't understand the conversation of who got done worse.
But I can't entertain this because to be fair, if we're going to compare us against another oppressed group, women, and we all have strong opinions about how ridiculous that is, I can play the game. I can say that, from an objective standpoint, the Native American population got decimated. Despite the fact that we've endured some brutality, the brutality of slavery, Jim Crow, new Jim Crow, all that. We are still here and we are still resilient. The Native Americans didn't fare so well. So, I mean, either you can say that, that's that. I'm not gonna say that because that's more controversial. But either we're more, have been more resilient, or either they have been done worse than us.
I mean, and I quite honestly, to that particular response, I don't think that we've been more resilient. I think that they have been decimated. I mean, they being colonial European Americans took out 98% of the Native American population during the tenure of colonialization. 98%. I don't know. That's on the brink of literal extinction at that point. If it was any other type of mammal, we would put them on the endangered species list at that point, and they would be in critical condition at that point. Go ahead.
How many of us were? Do we know how many of us were?
I'm going to get real controversial in a second, but go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing about that is, I lost my point, bro.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm with Chuck here. I don't want to compare blacks to Native Americans versus who had it worse to those people. What I will say is this though: we were chattel property. If they wanted to wipe us out, they could have. But we were the workforce. It wasn't their goal to kill us.
Here and make a profit.
It was the goal was to breed us and make us property to use us as slaves. So there was a different system in place to battle against Native Americans. They wanted their land and wanted them gone. But for us, they didn't want us gone. They wanted us here, and they wanted us breeding, and they wanted us stupid, and they wanted us big, and they wanted us doing their work, and that's what they got. I'm not going to say one is better, one's worse. They both fucking suck. You know what I mean? But I will say, to me, one difference is, at least with the Native Americans, they had a fighting chance. I mean, they when the first ship landed, it was 3 ships. It was the Santa, the Maria,
Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
Yeah, versus fucking the entirety of the Native American people in the USA. They let them get a foothold. They let them grow, and despite multiple times when they were betrayed, multiple times when treaties were signed and saying we'll be your friend, we'll do this, and then they went and broke it, they still like, okay, cool. Then the Native Americans also fought amongst themselves. They did not band together to repel this obvious threat. They fought amongst themselves to I don't know why. So I'm not saying that it's in any way their fault, but I'm saying their situation, how they got there, is different than our situation and how we got here.
But to refute your point, though, just the point that you made, if you look at when the British and the Portuguese arrived in Ghana, where a lot of historians say that the slave trade started in earnest, we also allowed the traders to get a foothold when we had an advantage on the whole continent of Africa. So there's similarities in both of our plight. I think where you can have the intellectual discussion, quasi-intellectual discussion, because again, we all agree comparing woes is not something that's really productive. But just to entertain the question, what's worse, to allow somebody, a dying patient, to suffer, or to put them out of their misery? So I mean, you can on one hand say it's worse that they decimated the Native American population. On the other hand, you can say we've endured 400 plus years of suffering. So which one is worse?
Well, and I wanted to address one of the comments. Chelsea Simone said, now I need to know what a womanist is. I'm behind on terminology. So just to go backwards a second, in terms of feminism, there are 2 different prevailing parties of that. Feminists being white American women that are pro women's rights, and then feminists being white American women, and womanists being the bifurcation of that for black women to also be fighting for women's rights, because from my understanding, white women don't necessarily include black women in their representation for women's rights. It's all about, white women, and then every now and then, oh, well, hey, why don't y'all come join us when it suits us, when it favors us, but they aren't always included in that conversation. So black women felt underserved, undervalued, and said, well, if y'all aren't going to value us the same way you're touting womanism, then we will go ahead and do our own thing and fight for black women's civil rights.
I mean, they're included in the struggle, just not in the reward. So they're okay with having black women be the muscle and march and do that kind of shit. But when it comes down to the payoff, it's not the same.
And black women are fighting for a lot more things than the feminist agenda, too. Black women have health disparities. Black women have all kinds of other issues that affect them that are endemic to the black female population. So I don't even know why they've entrained themselves so rigidly with the feminist movement when they haven't really reap the benefits of that movement at all.
We can see
the first great white lie. You do this for us because it's helped you as well, and we fell for it. White women got the right to vote before black women did. Suffrage gave them the right to vote in the 1920s, and black women got it in the 1960s.
We can see the division between white women and black women in the new Supreme Court justice and in politics as it stands today, where white women voted Trump into office. It was the white woman vote that I think 58% of the white women vote went to Trump, whereas I think it was something ridiculously small, like 5% of the black female vote went to Trump.
It was about 5% of the black vote. Period. I don't think.
No, black women, more black women voted against Trump than black men. There was even a higher percentage by a small margin of black men that voted for Trump versus black women. Black women in mass were voting against him.
That's what I'm saying, but I don't think black women were 5%. I think black vote was 5%.
Well, regardless,
part of that was black women.
The point is, politically, we see time and time again that black and white women are not aligned in how they view politics, and those politics directly affect them later on down the line, as we're seeing right now with the newly nominated and appointed Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, after that grueling nomination hearing that he went through for the allegations of sexual assault against multiple women. This was a shit show for Congress to go through to have this partisan politics play itself out in the most dismal way possible, seeing how politics overrode morality for all intents and purposes, in my opinion. You can argue against it, but in my opinion, partisanism overruled morality, in as much as this was a conservative nominee that they wanted to get in regardless of the cost. And that cost being the sanctity of women's rights in terms of taking seriously allegations of sexual assault, and yet again minimizing a woman's ability to be comfortable with coming out about an allegation of sexual assault, and basically saying, you know what, we really don't care. We care more about getting our party politics in than we do about a woman's right to be vocal about what has happened to her.
In fairness, though, that's liberally spun, though. You know?
Okay.
So I refuse to have people lump me into a box when I have an opinion on this, because my opinion is very nuanced. I can, on one hand, believe that, you know, Blasey Ford's testimony was very compelling. I can explicitly say that I believe her, that happened. I can also say that I understand the mechanisms and things that go into women being, have women failing to report or delaying reporting allegations of sexual assault. There are a lot of things I can understand that to be true, right? But also what we lost inside of all this is that, you know, those senators voted along party lines almost 100% on both sides. You can't tell me that there wasn't enough gray area here, that somebody, there should have been some more variety in opinion here. And I think that when you talk about the sanctity of, you know, women's rights, you also have to think about the sanctity of our Constitution and the presumption of innocence. Like, this man, 30-something years have elapsed since she made this allegation. And despite the fact that I believe her, I believe in due process as well. And if, over that time, a lot of time has accrued, and he's gotten a lot of character witnesses over that time who testified in opposition to that. They also were unable to provide the corroborating witnesses that she herself, you know, said was present at the time. Now, I do think their failure to have the FBI conduct a large investigation or a good investigation is a stain. But we're looking at this one-sided, like, there's a presumption of innocence for Kavanaugh as well that we totally ignore. And on the liberal side, we tout women's rights. On their side, we tout due process. So, you know, there's a lot of gray area here. I think all of us are hypocrites to a certain extent, because all of us want our political will to prevail in this.
See, here's my problem with what you just said. To me, it seems like you are saying that we have tried and convicted Kavanaugh in the court of public opinion, which I disagree with. What I think happened in this particular case is, aside from, no one was calling Kavanaugh guilty. What we did instead was disbelieve Ford and say, you know what, why bring it up at this point? Why do this? Let sleeping dogs lie. This wasn't a matter to me of, is Kavanaugh guilty? This was a matter of, do we afford someone who has made allegations the leeway of an investigation? And it's your point about and you kind of you said investigation, but you said it as an aside. To me, that was the crux of everything. We didn't give, I mean, even once they conceded to say, okay, we'll let you have your little investigation, they curtailed the investigation to the point where it was laughable to even call it that. I mean, it was okay, we'll let you talk about this in the most mundane, watered down way possible. In the state of, I can't speak about every other state, but in the state of Texas, when someone is accused of a sexual assault crime, we allow for extraneous, not even offenses, but extraneous evidence to be brought in to prove up the current situation of the current sexual assault allegation. Meaning, you had at least 2 other women who had viable or seemingly viable allegations. I said, or seemingly viable allegations against him. Those should have been included in whatever investigation, because why? Because this wasn't a matter of, this wasn't just what, this shouldn't have been made about just Ford. Whatever allegation is out there, you have an FBI, you have a Supreme Court justice nominee coming out. I don't care if there's 50. If you have to go through all 50 of those, that's fine.
So from that standpoint, you think that
to apply a criminal justice standard and then say it's not criminal justice. You're saying it's not a trial, but you're also applying trial law. And also, to clarify what you said in Texas, you can bring those extraneous in, but they have to be believed beyond a reasonable doubt also.
Right, by the trier of fact.
You can't just lob shit out there. I mean, listen, I get what we're saying here, but one of the things I recognize with Kavanaugh to be true is an accusation ought not be enough. Now, it's not saying you should be I don't want anybody thinking if you've been assaulted, male or female, you should not come out. But I also think it's fair to say you should not be automatically believed as well.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with an investigation and saying, hey, let's check this out. I don't know what we were hoping to find in a 30-year-old investigation of something where we know there'd be no DNA, we know there'd be no video, no audio, and no matter what happens, it would come down to a he said, she said, and in that particular room, it would have been Miss Ford and then 2 people who sexually assaulted her. So we possibly can't believe that they're going to be like, yeah, I did that shit.
But do you think it should have been limited to Ford or to, because there's at least three allegations?
If we were in a court of law trying a case, court of law rules and evidence.
Why does this have to?
But this as we all said before was a job interview. So you're saying, hey, for this job interview, let's treat it like a court of law. But hey, this ain't a court of law.
No, what I'm saying is that for this job interview, every allegation should be looked into. And you're saying, why should we look into every allegation?
Calm down.
That is what I'm saying.
What's the standard for which an allegation should be allowed to be investigated? So if 1,000 women decided to come against Brett Kavanaugh right now, and the numbers keep rolling, what's the standard? What we say, that's enough. Enough is enough. Let's go on with these proceedings. What's the standard?
You want my personal answer?
Yes.
My personal answer is for the job of Supreme Court justice until it's satisfied, until you have gone through each one of those.
Who's the arbiter of what's satisfied?
Until you've gone through each one.
And why does it matter what job it is? You should, no matter what job you're doing.
Because it matters more for this job.
No matter what job you're doing, you shouldn't let somebody who's guilty of sexual assault work there. I mean,
why is that different standard? Why are you applying a different standard?
You're saying for Supreme Court justice, we should do all this, but I'm saying teacher, janitor, it doesn't fucking matter. If you sexually assault people, you ought not be. I mean,
there's no disagreement there, and that's not what I said at all. What I said was in this particular instance. What I said was in this particular instance. What I said was in this particular instance, no matter how many allegations come out, because what Rod is saying was, well, how many times do you let it, or how much do you let it go? I'm saying that for this particular standard, what the standard is. So rephrase. So
let me ask you a question differently. So. You basically, things sound good when it comes out of my mouth because you speak from a very idealistic standpoint. It's cool to pander to women and say every time a woman says an allegation, it should be believed, and it's that woman's it's cool to say that, right? But what's the converse of that? Every man that's accused should be presumed guilty. Almost.
No, it's not.
No.
It's about an investigation.
Listen, a man is not presumed innocent because a woman's. It's a heinous crime. We all get that. I understand that. Due deference to any woman who suffered from sexual assault. But every woman who has a sexual assault
you're conflating
allegation,
guilt and innocence with the fact of investigating. Not once have I said Kavanaugh was guilty of this and he shouldn't be on the Supreme Court. Not once did I say that. What I said was if there's an allegation for a Supreme Court justice nominee, no matter how many there are, every single one of them.
No matter how many there are?
Yes, no matter how many one of them, how many of them are.
Yo,
you should investigate.
If you ran a country, your country would be broke. If you have finite resources.
I could say, you know what? He's got 1,000 allegations.
You can't do that, man.
Let's go with another nominee. There are plenty of nominees.
You can't stymie the process in perpetuity because you can just have allegations come out of the woodwork. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. It really doesn't make any sense.
It is what it is. You can have,
but you got a female audience. Honestly.
Yeah, we know.
Listen, it's not about female audience. I
wish you keeping it real.
Oh, okay.
It's because you're going to get broke.
Right, you sound hurt now.
I veer to your whole point about the fact that
just because I'm a man doesn't mean that I have to pander to men or pander to women.
Yes, you are, because everyone here agrees.
That's stupid.
Everyone believes that Blase. Do you believe in Blasey Ford's story? I believe in it wholeheartedly. I vetoed your whole retort when I said that up front. I'm telling you from a philosophical standpoint, the way our justice system works. Due process has to have deference over everything, and we are eroding due process the way we're handling all these allegations right now.
So how should they have handled the allegations?
Listen, just because I don't have the answer to me, I don't know it's bullshit. That's a
bullshit answer.
No, listen. There should be some standard for allegations before we start.
So what should the
this
standard
guy has
be?
had 36 years of almost flawless practice as a judge. We all agreed on this before this came out, how impressive he was as a jurist. Did we not?
I never said that.
No.
You said that.
Well, you and I talked about it, and you kind of said, yes, he had said some impressive things. I'm saying he got 36 years of women who he's worked with now saying that, speaking for his character. How much weight should we give that? I'm not saying
much as needed. I'm not saying, that's what I'm saying. The investigation, to me, I'm not saying that we should investigate him to vilify him. I'm saying that there's an investigation to see just how credible all the shit that she said could have been, if everybody said, you know what, we've got 20 people that all discount her story. Cool, moving on. That's all I'm saying. You act as if investigation automatically means.
That's not what I said. You said that.
That's what
you're coming to be a
off
good
as.
steward of resources. You can't investigate every allegation. What happened to you because they knew you were going to be a judge, Brandon, and then all the women in your life you pissed off say, I'm gonna bring up some frivolous allegation, and they hold your judgeship up for ransom. How would you feel about that?
I'm going to say, all right, I know good and damn well what I haven't done. I've got the rest of my life to be a Supreme Court justice. By all means, take as much time as you need.
But you also know,
okay, I'm not going to say that. I am going to say that.
You
You're going to tell me what I'm not going to say. I know what the hell I'm going to say.
You can't argue history, huh?
Yeah, you can't argue my history. Fuck that right now.
But you also know if your job's on the line, you don't get due process. If enough people come out, it is what it is, and you don't get it. And you know you would fight tooth and nail, not for this job, but for your name. No,
I don't disagree with that at all.
Nobody wants to be known as a fucking rapist.
I don't disagree with that. None of what I'm saying is y'all are arguing different points than what I'm talking about. But
you're changing your point as you're talking.
No, it's not. Y'all keep conflating issues together.
You gonna always win like that.
You keep conflating issues.
You say I'm saying you changing the game.
What I have said. Let me make it very clear so there is no. Let me make this very clear so you understand exactly what I'm saying, and the people out there can understand exactly what I'm saying. It's not going to be because every time I say some shit, y'all change it. You a fraud ass nigga. Fuck you, Ryan. This is what I'm trying to say right now. The argument is that no matter what is being done, no matter what is being said, if you are up for a Supreme Court nomination, let the investigation ride as is. It doesn't matter if there's 20 people that are accusing. It doesn't matter if there's one person that is accusing. You have the benefit of having it be 30 years after the fact. So unless there's something egregious that they all of a sudden come up with, you are actually in the driver's seat of this investigation because no one should be able to come up with anything against you other than their word. And that being said, if an FBI investigation says all we have at the end of the day is he say, she say, guess what? You're probably going to go through with that nomination. But the problem here is that they didn't even give the benefit of the doubt of a full investigation for these allegations. And that is my point.
If this Kavanaugh, if you were in this position, you wouldn't have the right, and Kavanaugh didn't have the right either to demand that this hearing go on for as long as he needed to go on, because Donald Trump could have rescinded his nomination at any time. They could that effectively can dispossess you of that office if that's allowed to happen the way you decided.
I'm not talking about what Kavanaugh should have done. I'm not talking about.
Are you hearing my point, Brennan?
But you're saying if you were in that position of Kavanaugh, I'm not arguing about that.
Hear what I'm saying? If things would happen the way you want them to happen, ideally, every witness get heard, every allegation gets heard, then you really can essentially dispossess people in that office, correct?
What?
Because Donald Trump was. You don't think Donald Trump was considering rescinding that nomination if this thing went on?
No, he wasn't. You talking about the same man who has gone through the gauntlet of grabbing pussies?
Another reasonable person. Yeah,
sure.
Thank you, my point.
But not Trump.
Okay.
Sure.
The point stands.
It's not the same point though, because the president in power right now is the
I
president.
also said you. I adduced you too. Exactly.
But it doesn't matter what I would want because you have a president right now that would not stand down.
God, bro, that's a terrible. That's not.
How is that terrible?
I'm trying to bring. Okay. Right.
So, but what I will say is, there is no independent evidence to support Ford, yet everybody in this room believes her. So she has met that burden, despite having been investigated and despite nothing new popping up. She's met that burden with everybody in this room and probably half the country, anyways. I just think you should come out with if you've been assaulted, you got accusation, come out there. Don't be afraid, but that should not automatically mean you should be believed. It should be okay with an investigation and saying somebody we don't believe you. And then telling somebody we don't believe you doesn't always mean we don't believe everybody, and nor should anybody not report.
There's nothing about what you just said that I disagree with.
Yeah, if you be quiet, you'll realize we agree a lot.
No,
Sure.
you do a lot of bullshit talking though, so I can't just be quiet and let you speak bullshit into my life. What kind of Lord would I serve then? But anyway,
To make it clear,
we spent too much time on this one. There's a policeman who has been found guilty in the Laquan McDonald case. In case you guys don't remember, this particular officer, Jason Van Dyke, was charged with first-degree murder. The jury found him guilty of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated assault for each of the 16 bullets that he shot into Laquan McDonald. His original story was that Laquan McDonald was coming towards him with I believe with a knife, and body cam video, witness accounts all suggest that Mr. McDonald was walking away from this particular officer, and it was hard for him to argue to this jury to say, well, you have to believe my position because I was the one there, when they say, well, we also have to believe this video that shows what you exactly did and how you did it. We may not know the why, but we certainly know the how. This is one of the pivotal cases because this is the second time in recent history within the last year that an officer has actually been found guilty of shooting someone in a situation where it's considered to be police misconduct.
It wasn't even that. Remember, this was a 4-year-old charge. He was policed by police. They investigated and said there was no misconduct. He was allowed to be on the force until the video came out.
Until the video came out a year later.
A year ago.
I'm sorry, you're right, a year ago. So, this was a 2015 shooting.
2014.
Was it 2014 or 2015?
It was 2014 because it's a 4-year-old. It came out 2017, and then he got found guilty now. But in 2015 is when he was investigated by his own or a police force, and they said, "Oh yeah, it was no misconduct. You're good to go." He was on the force until he got arrested in 2017. The video came out,
which makes you wonder just how much the blue shield protects the blue.
Ain't no wonder. We already know that happened.
Yeah, yo. Listen, man, I got shut up by a dirty cop when I was 14. Me and my cousin Jerry were driving down the street. Dirty cop named Jeff Light, who subsequently got thrown up the force, set up a lot of kids, man. Cops, man, they protect each other, man. That dude, they knew what he was doing, man. They did nothing about it, man. That's how they do. We know how they get down, so I don't know why we surprised.
Man, that's been going on for years, man. This is the same thing. It to me, if police are required to wear body cams and we have all this stuff, why did it show up years later? For one, why was that not even a question from the beginning? Where's your body cam? Where's the footage of what was going on? And if you say it was there and it wasn't working, then what happened? Like, these are the questions that when these things happen, we never ask these questions, or at least it doesn't come out to the public of all it is this cop says this is what happened and we just ride with that. But we know history has shown cops do dirty shit all the time.
We give the cops too much public trust.
To actually answer your question, he didn't have a body cam. Body cams are fairly new, the past 2 years. What got him was a dash cam. Now,
the dash cam, same thing, right?
So dash cams have been around for a while, but in most law enforcement agencies, all the cars don't have dash cams. In fact, usually dash cams are on specialized divisions within law enforcement that deal with DWIs, because a lot of their investigation and evidence comes from a roadside investigation. So they have the dash cam to watch you do the field sobriety test and fail, and then that becomes your evidence against you.
But in this case, he had a dash cam.
In this case, he had, and they held it.
Why? That's what I'm saying. Why? Because to me, automatically, if I go to work and say I have a body cam on me and I'm out on a project and I do something that's fucked up, and the first thing they're going to ask me is, where your body cam? And now if I can't produce it, I mean, come on, man. That's like automatically I'm trying to hide something from you.
Well, they had the body cam.
They had the dash cam, and they viewed the dash cam, and they still cleared him. This wasn't an issue of him not turning over or them not seeing it. This is one of they saw it and said, "Okay, cool, we'll let you ride." It wasn't until the family
was as like, in the police,
right? Yes.
So that's the other thing.
Family
why is it being reviewed by the police?
That's an age-old question of police.
Well, that goes to the fact of internal affairs. I mean, they have a department that's supposed to be dedicated and outside the boundaries of the regular police officer to say, we have an honor code, we do things this way. But we have seen time and time again, no matter what kind of honor code you have, blues still support reports blue. I mean, it just is what it is, which is why some people have argued for citizen boards to actually be able to police the police. And obviously that's gotten a lot of flack, a lot of blowback on that, because at the end of the day, if you have citizens now addressing cops or policing cops, cops are going to say, well, they aren't in our position, so they don't know the kind of mentality that it takes, what's going on in that snap judgment situation, like a police officer does. So we're best suited and best situated to know exactly what a police officer is supposed to do.
Yeah, but how does that argument stand up the test of time? Because you have other professions who have a lot of, let's say a lot of responsibility, and the way that their decisions impacts people, yet they're held accountable more than the police. As a physician, we spend our nights tossing and turning, thinking about getting sued. Nobody understands our position when we're in surgery or we're dealing with an emergency situation, but that doesn't protect us or shield us from litigation or responsibility or accountability. But somehow police officers, they can use that excuse, and they've been using that excuse since... Forever. I don't understand.
So part of the reason why is we have all watched shit from beginning of time, Bonanza, Starsky and Hutch, Law and Order, which has created this false idea of what cops are, and also this false idea of what internal affairs are. Most agencies don't view internal affairs as the rat squad coming out to get me, like a Law and Order, and they're like, oh, the internal affairs coming to get me, they'll take my shit away. That's not true. That's not how they view it. To them, it's just like another division, like robbery, homicide, internal affairs, whatever. All the same people, they don't give a shit. There's no like, we hate them. There's the media, either by hook or by crook, has made cops heroes to the level of military that can't be touched. No other profession gets that. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, no other profession in this country gets that level of constant hero worship like cops do. And that has created a system where they feel like they are above the law. And then you have politicians like former Harris County DAs that create systems that allow cops to kill people all the time and get a totally different style of justice, get no bail, and hit the streets again for at least, for a while, there wasn't a single cop that was indicted in Harris County for 15 years for shootings.
I believe it.
So that's a part of the issue with grand juries at that point.
To me, it's all an issue of hero worshiping, politicians carrying the law enforcement, all that is all lumped in as one. Grand juries is symptomatic of the issue of the DA saying, in Harris County, if a cop, 2013, before DA Ogg, if you were a cop and I was a cop and I shot you and it was fucking wrong, completely wrong, they would get indicted. We would go to grand jury, but I would be here, Brendan would be my lawyer, and I would be able to paint my entire picture to you, how scared I was that day, what happened, how I felt, and then they would do something else. They would take you into a simulation where you get to pretend to be a cop, right? And you get to see how quick you would shoot your gun, and then you feel bad, and then you would no bill him. If I had any questions, Brendan sitting by my side to answer all my questions for me, and all that. Conversely, flip it. If regular old Damon killed regular old Quentin, I'd get none of that protection. Not one bit of that would I get. And that was how Harris County did it up until DA Ogg.
Well, the last thing I want to talk about before we move on to the fun of this, because this shit depresses me to no end. Presidential alerts. Over the weekend, I'm sure some of you received the presidential alert that just rolled out, where the president, vis-a-vis the I think, is it FEMA? They're able to, or the FEMA emergency response unit, they're able to send out messages to your phone, regardless of if you want them or not, and let you know exactly what kind of breaking news the president deems necessary for you as a fellow American citizen to have. Some people didn't get the messages. I think that they're still trying to work out the kinks of it. Some people actually right now, I think iPhone users have the ability to turn off their emergency broadcast alerts. I don't know if they're going to try to bypass that or not. But I was looking through my timeline and I saw that a lot of people didn't like the fact that the president, I couldn't tell if it was specifically that they didn't like that this president could actually speak to them directly whenever he wanted to, or it was the fact that the government had that kind of access to them. If it's a matter of the government having access, I have no problem with the emergency response or the emergency alert system, because there's some shit that I probably need to know. And if you feel like it's necessary for me to know, I should at least take the time to take the 15 seconds to look at it and be like, oh, word, bet. Now I can go on about my business.
Man, that's some Orwellian shit, man.
Yeah, so slippery slope, man, because Here's the thing with technology. It comes in ebbs and flows to the point that you think things, that you accept things as being things that you need, and you give up something, right? There's a social contract. You give up a little bit of your freedom to get a little bit more safety. So you think of something like these alerts where you say, well, what if there's a tsunami, or what if there's a hurricane, what if there's something, an attack, and I really have to know that, and the technology is available. It can come right to my phone. I always have my phone with me. Why not? And that's great until the next step happens, which is we also have the technology to keep you safe by tracking you and seeing exactly where you are and keeping you out of a place that you shouldn't be. And you say, and the next thing you say, well, that's not too bad. I don't want to be where I'm not supposed to be. Sure. Right. Turn it on too. So it's step by step by step until you realize that you've given up all of your freedoms. It's like the privacy now, right? Mm-hmm. When social media first started, there were people who said, I don't know if I want that information out there. We're in a position now where if I decided tomorrow that I wanted to get off of Facebook, I would lose contact with, I don't know how somebody's going to tell me when I'm coming to Damon's birthday party, because that's the only way they know how to get in touch with me.
Absolutely.
Right? How am I going to get to all of these things? So you give away so much, because in the context of social media and all of these technology companies, the product is the information that you give. The product is not what they're selling you. The product is not you keeping in touch with your friends and your family and upload all of the data that surrounds that and the metadata that surrounds the place where you were when you uploaded the photo and what you have on in the photo, which then tells me, if I'm a data scientist, what kind of things you buy, what places you like to go, what cars I should sell to you, where I can find you shopping, all of the vacation packages that I can tailor just to you. Those things become the product that these large companies then go out and sell. So I think you just have to be careful. And when it comes to these presidential alerts, I'm on the same mind as Brennan. I'm like, I don't want to be the one that turns mine off and then miss something that says there's a bomb coming, right? But I also think about it in those terms, because working with the technology every day, I see some stuff that when you think about the far-reaching impacts of it, it's scary, because there is so much data there about you. And people in general think that they're unique, and you're not.
So here's why I'm against the presidential alerts across the board. Trump, Obama, I don't give a shit. I'm against them. You don't get local alerts. So if a hurricane's hitting Houston, the president's not going to tweet me, right? So him having the ability to access me doesn't help me. He's going to access me for a national emergency. Now let's think about what kind of national emergency will require him to alert me in the middle of whatever the hell I'm doing. A war, but not just a war where they are on my doorstep, where they are here. Like the invaders are landing like Red Dawn, dropping right there. And if that's going on, I don't need him to tell me. I should know it right then and there. But like, if we were getting local alerts, if Mayor Turner was telling me, hey Damon, evacuate Houston right now. This hurricane, which I said was a Cat 3, is a Cat 5, and it's coming right to your house.
Well, that could happen, but the reason that it's put the way it is because it's federal. So it wouldn't be Mayor Turner. It would be FEMA under the auspices of the president sending you that message. So they could localize the message. The technology is there where they could localize it and make it, but it would always be a federal entity, because they're not going to give, even though it's out there, they're not going to give local government the access to that technology.
Which is why I'm against it, because we are more affected by local than national, and Red Dawn ain't happening.
All right, well, it has come to that time, ladies and gentlemen, where we're about to have a little bit of fun. This is where Rod and I get a little heated with each other, as if we weren't already. But at the end of the day, Rod, you know I love you, right?
Man, fuck you.
I feel how much his heart is open to me. And I'll see I have the headphones in right now, because what we're going to do is we're going to play a series of games. The very first game is called Hum On. This is what Charles and the guys decided the title would be. So if you don't like it, blame them.
But you like it.
The way this game works is that I'm going to hum a song, and I've been elected to hum because certain people have the audacity to say that my humming is terrible, and I'm about to show y'all just how good my hum is.
That's what she
Pause.
That's what she said.
Pause. I want you guys to play along because I got a list of songs here, but as we're going, I'm going to actually be able to see your suggestions, and I'll be able to look them up on the phone and sing the song because I truth be told, I don't know more to songs other than the hook a lot of times. So it is what it is. The first person to buzz in will get the point. We've got our producer who's going to be keeping up with the point total for our first game. This is called Hum On. Are you ready, gentlemen?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. For this one, actually, 1, 2, 3. You can use my buzzer. I'm not about to toss it. We pay a lot of money to be in here.
Yes.
All right. These songs will be coming from any and every era. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'll start you off easy. Me.
Oh, no.
Charles. Charles is out.
I was about to say Scrubs.
Rod gets the first point.
Scrubs, baby. Listen.
I mean, hey, the boys on it. See, this is how I knew. Rod and I, there's certain things that we can't agree
I
on.
definitely should know that one.
It's funny, Chuck.
Oh, man. All right.
You get negative points for knowing that shit.
All right, y'all ready? Ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
All right.
Stop in the name of love.
Hold on. Who buzzed first?
Charles.
Naming.
Stop in the name of love.
Stop in the Name of Love. Who's it by? Charles.
The Supremes.
The Supremes.
Easy, man.
Stutter.
So is Charles getting that point? Because
So we'll give half a point and half a point.
oh my God.
Can we get
Or
some
1
3,
point,
6
1
mafia?
point.
Thanks,
So it's 2 points per. You can either get the name
You just make it
or the yeah. This is how we do. We make up shit as we go.
Come on.
It's a house game.
All right.
Come on.
Hum on it.
Where the shots at? Glory Gaynor, I Will Survive.
On it. You are right, sir.
That's the
2 points.
official
I
coming out
got
song.
2 points.
All right. Y'all ready for the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Jagged as Let's Get Married.
That's on it.
Well, yeah, Quentin.
Quentin, is it ready for
I'm
this?
in 2000s listening to T.I. I don't know what y'all doing.
All right.
The album was trash, by the way.
Let me mark these down.
How
so I
dare
know.
you.
Y'all got the move right to the other side of the table.
How dare you?
Now we're about to fight.
Jagged Edge is a national treasure.
No, I'm talking about T.I. album was trash.
Oh.
All right. Y'all ready for the next one?
Girls, you better watch out. That thing, Lauryn Hill. Do-wop.
That is correct.
That was the worst fucking humming.
Well, so here's the problem I have. I got to make sure I can project into the mic. Oh, you need the vibrato? Well, that's what makes this game so fun because,
It sounds like a berry.
boy, with friends like y'all who needs enemies, I tell you right now. All right. Y'all ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Nigga. Yeah, let me see that shit. I'll give up a point, man. Let me see that.
No one got it? Did no one get it?
I'm going to read this from one of my comments. This is the worst humming I've ever heard in life. That is straight
I don't
off-
want to make it
that's
too
straight off
easy
the
on
book.
you.
That's straight off the book.
So-
I have to agree with Nick on that.
Y'all some haters, man.
What was it?
Damn.
Damn, bro.
All right, so it was falling.
Sorry, you got
Alicia
punched in
Keys.
the stomach a
I
bunch of
keep
times.
on falling.
Oh, my
in.
God.
It was hard because it's a higher pitch, you know. Wait. Well, all right,
Come on, bro.
where we at?
No.
All right, here's an easy one for you.
No.
Brandy, I want to be down.
Yes, sir.
That was horrible, too.
So did you listen to any rap music when you was growing up?
But, hey, I'm going to beat you on that, too.
So for y'all, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a request for some or hip hop, Quentin's gonna ask for that, so I will look it up as we go. So please bring in your requests. Well, y'all some haters on the web and online. I see all the laughing faces. That's all right. All right, here we go. Y'all ready for the next one?
Show home his little heart out.
Yes, sir.
Neo, love song.
Will Allow It, So Sick by Neo.
All that shit you talk.
All that shit.
Oh,
Damn, man. Still rap in that whole Neo album. But go ahead.
That sitting at home.
All right.
You know, he's a love now, so I like Mexico.
All right, here's what. Rod's probably going to get this one.
We'll see. That means you won't get it.
Y'all ready?
No humming.
I got that.
Hold on. Who got it?
I got that.
Wow.
You tried.
That was great, bro.
No,
Wow.
I got Chuck. I got you by like a hair.
I know y'all heard that doorbell.
Chuck, I got you by a hair, bro.
I know y'all heard that doorbell. It was Chuck.
That was me, man.
All right, so Charles.
Go ahead, Chuck. Can We Talk?
By
Tevin Campbell.
yes, sir. All right.
I gotta be honest.
That was cheating. I know I was faster than Chuck.
All right, y'all ready for the next one?
Incredibly false.
Y'all ready for the next one? All right.
Sure.
Mr. Candyman?
No, I got that
First of all,
bro.
First of all, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
And Rod,
Say Mr.
New
Candyman.
edition.
he did say
New edition is just a telephone, man.
that is
Said
correct.
Mr.
I don't know
Mr.
what kind of pedophile songs you were listening to, sir.
Sammy Davis Jr.
All right.
Make mistakes now. Make mistakes.
All right, here we go.
Do a rap song.
One of my favorite guys.
I just got to get in the game. It's something Usher.
What's the song?
You made me want to.
Yes, sir. That's the shit out there.
Man, y'all cheating, bro.
Yes, the shit.
Bro, ain't no way,
Ain't
bro.
no way.
Hold on, we got a request, so I'm gonna try to pull this up real quick. Hold on.
And when I down, stiff one,
jealous?
Yes. Do shit.
He had to let him hear his voice. He ain't the only one can do this.
All
A
right.
minute later, I got the operator. Inflation come again.
I gotta see if I know this song.
Carry no key.
Carry no.
Carry no key.
Carry no key, boy, that's hard, yo.
No key.
Carry
All right,
no
y'all get ready?
Yeah.
Chat.
Hold on. I can't even hear you. I'm just jamming.
Old MacDonald by Old MacDonald.
No, sir. This is actually by somebody in here. Anybody?
By somebody in here.
Well, I mean, somebody. This is somebody. Crystal Washington has this requested.
We're not looking
Is it Beyonce?
No. All right, I'll do it again.
I swear that's Beyonce.
We got the cameraman that's on it. So y'all may be too old to know this song, then, because only the youngest person in here knows.
Nothing that one?
Huh?
Yeah. I don't know the name of the song. I know the song,
Beat
but
the Trap, Nicki Minaj.
Absolutely not.
it's terrible, bro.
All right, no one got it. Do you know it?
Cameraman, come on.
What is it?
He thought it was Bees in the Trap.
thought it was Bees in the Trap.
No, it's Migos T-shirt.
Oh, Crystal said
Migos on. I'm sorry, Migos on tour.
That was absolutely not.
Migos T-shirt. Mama
Absolutely
told
not.
me I was about to
Terrible.
That's all it
Like
is.
Bees in the Trap.
That's all it is.
Sounds like
Shit.
Bees in the Trap.
It's literally 7 songs that all sound like
It's
this.
not like that.
Bees in the Trap, man.
All right, they hated your
Sound like Bees in
request.
the Trap.
That must have been the real Migos.
I love the request. I hated the
Our
humming.
producer, it sounds like Bees in the Trap.
Look, I'm only going by what's here. I'm gonna let y'all hear it.
Did you home in Macchiato?
Hold on. This is how it sounds.
Yeah, that's how it
Shit.
sounds, but that's how you sound.
You need to get some
Okay,
help.
well,
You sounded terrible.
Whatever. Your mama. All right. All right. All right. Here's another R&B song until we get the next suggestion in. All right. Y'all ready?
Sure.
Oh, let me take a swig.
Do something.
Me.
Add some vocals.
I'm trying to. It's hard to do this. I'm trying to make sure.
Man, come on.
I'm trying to make sure my voice goes to the damn microphone right now because the way my voice is set up.
The way we can hear
What's the next?
But
gag?
you can hear me, but the people in TV land may not be able to hear me because the way my vocal
Man,
cords
you
are
don't
set
want
up.
this song?
All right,
Get to home. Quit
y'all ready? All right.
It's that love song by love. Oh my gosh.
Who was it? Quentin.
Love by music.
That is
Music Soul Child.
that is
Man, my
correct.
buzzer
I
ain't.
get credit for love.
I was loud buzzer.
Yo, bro.
All right, here's an easy one.
I
Here's
get credit for love.
what's his name? Quentin better get this one. All right.
Also, you
No, this
By
is gonna be
somebody black.
it's gonna be real simple.
somebody asked you.
Somebody asked you. Damn.
Hold on,
All right.
sir.
Y'all ready?
That was me.
Sir.
That was me.
I'm so disappointed in
That was
Quentin right
me.
It's
now.
not him though. I get it though.
That was
Go
me.
ahead, Charles.
So fresh and so clean by Outkast.
That is correct.
Great,
started
great
in the
civil
middle
rap
of the
group in
song.
history.
Yeah, if you didn't get it, I was about to hit it.
All right, here's the next one. This is I think Charles is gonna get this one.
Some old,
Why some old?
some old shit.
Ready?
I don't know why they go hit me. Oh my god! Been around the world. I can't find. Been around the world. That's that shit.
Up there.
No, you gotta do it. I got you, man.
My buzzer
I got
is
you
nice.
first.
I think Charles
Bro,
made it.
I got you,
Do
man.
we know?
I got
Y'all
it.
be cheating like
Right.
that.
Quentin with the steel.
No
Thievery.
No point.
I got been around the world. I
Oh,
get,
man.
I get that point on that. You want
All
to
right.
play buzzers?
Nah.
Was that right?
You're right. You're
You
right.
get 1 point each,
Well,
right?
I'll
Right,
take it.
producer?
I'm gonna
Come
thank
on,
my
man.
mama for that one.
All right, here's
That's
the
what I
next.
said. Y'all lost as fuck. Wasted too much time.
Am I in the lead?
Now,
No, sir.
You ain't getting no points for that.
No, sir.
Just
I
holler.
don't get no point.
Nah.
you said you just
You
hollered.
just buzz in.
Y'all ready?
It's the same. Just holler.
John Legend, ordinary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know I'm in the lead now.
This is crazy.
Oh, it's crazy now because I'm winning.
All right. Oh, we got one. Hold on. We got one by Jacquel Haywood. Let me find the song. Y'all talk amongst
Man,
yourselves
you
while I
can
find this
see the
out.
doggone thing, right?
What?
You can see the request, bro.
I can't see it.
How can you see it?
Because they making it.
Well, then don't look.
That's what you gonna do? Yeah, we know.
Well, sorry. Well, they may not know it.
I'm in the drop top Chevy with the roof wide open.
All right. Well, don't look at your damn thing.
Looking at with the
Close it. Quit cheating, man.
But
Nope,
I've been drinking and I've been smoking. Why are you so loud?
Because he's a nigga.
Why are you so loud?
You about as loud as your ass, boy. If you don't, put some lotion on your voice.
Sir.
All right. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Here's another one. Charles.
I don't know.
Through the wire. Shotgun.
Yeah, you got it.
So
No,
technically,
I got it.
you got
No.
1 point. What is it?
Rufus through the wire.
So it's actually through the fire.
Through the
Fire.
Fire.
Fire. So
this
no one
is-
gets that
kind of
point.
Rufus. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was thinking about the steel. Yeah, this shot. I was thinking about the steel.
Solo
man.
shot.
Damn.
No
All right,
points.
Why did I say through the wire?
All right, here's one.
Kanye.
Kanye. Okay, there we go. Bag lady.
Sir.
That's the easiest part of it.
Fucking bag lady.
Everybody do it.
Y'all are terrible.
He got a 5-second rule.
Rod buzzed in first.
He did
You
buzz
didn't
in
say
first.
it.
You gotta wait till they buzz. You gotta wait till you call them.
Always trying to hold a
Y'all
black
Negroes
man
win
back.
God, everybody do until I say bag lady. All right, so who wants y'all
So that's 1-1.
That's 1-1.
All right, here's an easy one.
All right, Chuck, for you.
I don't like humming.
Yes, sir. Rod.
Stevie Wonder. Isn't she lovely?
No.
No, not at all.
Absolutely not. Sir, what?
I'm disappointed to have known you after that answer.
Your humming is pretty terrible, bro.
No, everybody knew that that wasn't it.
It wasn't that. It wasn't it.
It sounds
All
like
right,
it's
we'll do it again. Rod is excluded. Yes, sir.
We Are the World by all them people. We are the world. Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, and them.
That is correct.
You know
That
what?
is correct.
Listen, I know melodies, bro. You sang the melody to damn. Yo, you off like a motherfucker.
So you mad because you lost? That's
Listen.
what it sounds like.
Oh, listen.
I can't make it easy for you.
That's like he started off like that.
We got a question from Jackwell Haywood. How does Damon not know any artists? Ma'am, I don't know.
Know the songs, not the artist. All right, that's what it is.
Fair enough.
He got a checkered past.
All right, y'all ready for this one?
Go ahead.
Charles.
Can you feel the love tonight? It's a fucking Disney
Nigga, did you just do the Lion
movie
King?
by
You gotta know the real who sing the song, though, bro.
wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Elton John.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
No, it's, what, did you just say Simba wrote this damn song? Leave the studio. Leave the studio.
Simba.
Simba sung the cartoon. Simba sung the song to Nala. All right. It wasn't about who wrote it. Half the stuff we said they didn't write, but Simba sung that shit.
Simba did not sing that.
Are you done, honey?
Simba's not
I think
real.
we're done with this.
Simba does not exist. He has no voice.
I felt pain when we found it out. Right?
We'll come back to Hum On another day.
Shimon.
Shimon, hum on. So where do we stand right
Come
now?
on, Vanna Black. Excel working for you?
Quentin.
Oh my God.
By 1 point.
Quentin
Who's second place?
is winning by 1
Rod-
point.
Rod came in second.
Quentin is great out in the room. What you allowing him?
You know nothing.
You can have songs.
For the whole
I
question.
get a point for the 5 songs I got.
All right. So here's the next one we're doing. This is more of a argument. This is where intelligent men have ridiculous discussions.
Whoa.
What?
You have 30 minutes.
So we're just cutting that out?
Jeopardy.
All right. So
Or
since we took so much time on the current events, we have to cut
So
out
much
this or
time, You're
that.
terrible, huh?
No, I want to do that part.
Just do 10 minutes of debate. We do 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Nah.
We'll do 7 minutes. Time us for 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Will that give us enough time for Gentpardy?
it will not. That's why.
It will not. So we got to go with what the producer says on this one. All right. So we are moving on to
taking over the
Gentpardy,
world.
which is the black version
they're
of
smart.
Jeopardy. We've got several categories that we're going to be going with. There's the basic Jeopardy round and then double Jeopardy round. I have not seen the answers to this. I need my buzzer back, sir.
Rob, give him yours. You ain't get shit right.
So this is going to be both informative, I think, and entertaining. Like I said, I don't know the answers. None of us know the answers. The only person that knows the answers is our producer, Andrea. And the first regular session has the categories Catch Me Outside, Bring the Potato Salad, #drag, Rosa Parks, Who Said, and Mama Say, Mama Saw. I have no idea what those connote or denote, but we about to get this started.
Somebody been watching BET all day life.
Uno momento.
All my life I had to fight color purple.
All right, we're getting that ready to go. So while she's getting, you let us know when you're ready for that. So and what we're gonna do is argue a little bit until she's ready for that. All right, this or that, Martin versus Fresh Prince.
Martin.
Why is this even a...
Go next.
Martin.
I would have said Fresh Prince.
Because we
trash. We expect that from you.
Lame as fuck, bro.
But if I need better friends.
Okay.
All right,
I'm ready to go.
last one, Dave Chappelle or Boondocks.
Dave
Chappelle.
Chappelle. Come on, bro.
Chappelle show. Come on, man.
Yes.
gonna say Boondocks,
Aaron
don't
Magruder
you?
didn't have enough material, man.
Come on, man.
Damon and I would have said Boondocks.
Y'all crazy.
Y'all still lost.
All right.
Do you want to know what the topics
Damon don't even know everybody
Yes.
do names.
So we want to know what the topics mean before we start.
Okay.
All right. So Put-
For
put the camera on our.
Put the camera on me.
Oh, don't put it. She's afraid of the light.
Vanna Red said no over there.
Okay.
Vanna Negro.
Vanna Red over there.
Catch Me Outside are things you might get beat with in a black household.
Oh.
Bring the Potato Salad. White people that are invited to the cookout.
Ooh.
#drag. These are people that have been celebrities that have been dragged on Twitter, either black Twitter or regular Twitter. And Rosa Parks, things black people don't do. As in, no.
Nah. All right.
Who said that? Black movie quotes. You have to name the movie character that said it.
Damn, that's long.
And then Mama Say, Mama Saw are things that black mamas say. This is
All right.
the regular Jeopardy round. Everybody got that?
Yeah,
All right.
who goes
Okay.
first?
Okay.
I say Otis go first. Chuck.
What you mean?
You
gotta pick the
category. It's Jeopardy.
Well, since Quentin won
Thank
the
you.
last
Somebody
round,
acknowledge
Yeah.
greatness in me.
Quentin, you go ahead and pick the first category.
Let me get that Catch Me Outside for the biggest pot.
For 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, not sweet, huh?
You can catch these.
Sorry, what are hands, ma'am?
Correct.
That should be worth 1,000. Who made this game?
But it sounds like some hateration going on.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Let me know when you're ready.
This or that.
It's not your category, man.
And that's not even a category on there.
I'm saying, why should you get ready? Do it.
Okay, none of this or that.
All right.
Oh, no?
All right.
All right. I want to do Bring the Potato Salad in honor of Damon for, what is it, 200.
Go higher for me next time.
Everybody's favorite uncle that had Obama's back raised. Chuck.
Who's Joe Biden?
That is correct, sir.
You supposed to say Uncle Joe, ain't it?
Go down.
That's not his name.
All right.
Okay. All right, Chuck.
I'll take Who Said for 1,000.
Who said it for 1,000?
Get this money.
Let me tell you something. This here right now, at this very moment, is all that matters to me. I love you, and that's urgent like a motherfucker.
I did that.
Charles got it.
Who is Darius from Love Jones?
Correct.
I'm not going to know any of
You
these.
did that shit. That was rough.
I will take Who Said It
I ain't had no
for,
sleep.
what's the next one? Whatever the
800.
next, 800.
800.
Can I have a piece of paper? You said 800?
Yeah.
All right, so while she's doing that, we'll do in between this or that. That way we
Ain't
keep
nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Damn.
Who is
Oh, well,
David,
that,
who is David Ruffin?
you didn't even
And
say that you
from
was
the
ready.
Temptations.
Right.
Yo,
Boo,
you
ma'am.
totally set
Boo.
us up, bro.
I'm good.
I got the
Worst-
hand. I got the
worst
thing in my
host in
hand.
game show history.
The rules in Jeopardy.
I see what it is.
Stay ready.
Vanna
I
White.
see what it is.
It's
Stay
Vanna
ready
White.
so you
That's
don't
what
have
it
to
is.
That's what it is. That red connection.
Hey man, when nobody saying nothing when you was hollering out the answers.
It's that red connection.
Don't want nobody saying nothing when you was yelling the answer
Over
at the
here
top of
giving
your
Chuck
lungs.
assist and shit.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
All right, Charles.
Continue with Who Said, running on up the
Who
book.
said
600.
For 600. You want to smell my punani? Right.
No, he got it.
Oh.
He got it.
Right.
He don't know. He don't know the answer. He don't know the answer.
But I did get it.
Okay.
No, you got it. He got
It
it
was
for real.
Justice from Poetic Justice.
I would have stole that shit like motherfucker.
I'm not no cheater.
He's a man. He's a
I'm not a
gentleman.
cheater,
We
bro.
are the gents.
You want to stay there?
I keep going.
Okay. Who said that for 400? Sit your fire.
Nino Brown, New Jack City.
That is correct, sir.
Did y'all see the questions before the show?
Wait.
I said sit your
Wait.
need it.
Wait.
$5
Wait. Martin said it. No, that's a TV show. Martin said it to Cole.
Go sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
All right, Damon, the board is yours.
Can we get out that category?
Yeah, heck yeah. Let me go with Catch Me Outside for 1,000.
That one's gone.
800 then.
You bet not bring a thick one. Chuck.
What's the switch?
Correct.
I forgot what the nature of the category was.
Y'all don't know how to play the game.
You better not play a thick. Boy, them skinny switches hurt, boy.
Motherfucker.
Damn, the green ones too are still juicy.
Let me get hashtag drag for 1,000.
For 1,000.
And these are people what?
Got dragged on
Yeah,
Twitter.
dragged out
Okay.
Twitter. Black
This
Swan.
pseudo biracial former president.
Pseudo biracial.
Oh, come on.
Jesse Williams?
He's actually biracial.
I know. That's
I
what
said it.
threw me
Wait,
out.
you want me to finish the
Yes.
question? This
Rachel
pseudo
Dolezal.
biracial former protege called everybody broke, but there were no passengers on his plane, including him. Right.
All right, that's Bow Wow. Who's Bow Wow?
How you give me the ride and he tapped my hand?
No, because you put my hand out. That was a tie, bro.
Bro, you know you so you say you cheated for Chuck, but
You
Pick
bang,
the next
you bang on the table.
Pick
so
the
there's
next
no-
category.
He said you bang on the table.
He know he hit the top of my hand. How you gonna get
I
that?
didn't even think about that. to be
Just
honest.
say Bob.
That's true.
I'll tell you, boy.
It's fine. All right.
Yeah, you bang on
What's the
the
next
table,
one?
bro.
I'll tell you.
Come on, pick
Don't
next
break it.
category.
Hard man, dark skin.
Do Rosa Parks.
Mama say, Mama sa. For 800.
This is things a black mama say.
Or just a
Yes.
mama.
Okay.
Things black mamas say. You said for how much?
800.
For 800. You need to get out of this if grown folks business.
I feel like I did it.
Nah.
Chuck.
It's either you or Chuck.
Ah, Charles.
Get out of grown folks' conversations.
Business.
No.
What is business?
Finish it.
What is face?
No.
Finish it. It's down to quitting myself and finish it.
Go back here.
Yeah, they done eliminated themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 7 answers that go with
It
this.
says you need to get out of this if grown folks' business is being discussed.
The room. What is the room?
Nah, it's only Quentin. Nah, look at you.
Quentin, take your time, brother.
You just made our
He
point.
gonna get it wrong regardless. Take your time.
Time. We gotta be a time on this thing. Quentin, just get it.
Conversation.
Sir,
Hey.
conversation's in the fucking answer.
Nobody got it. The answer is what is her mouth?
She do be saying that, guy. She do be saying
Still with Rod there.
Okay.
Come on, Rod.
That must have been in a mixed black family. I never heard that shit in my life.
Mama say, Mama sa for 600.
600. She will teleport you into the future by doing this.
Slap your ass in the future.
No. First of all, you need to form the question correctly.
What is Quentin?
Yes. But that
I was next.
He was next.
is not it. Chuck.
What is slap you?
No.
No.
Brennan.
What is knock you into next week?
Correct.
Y'all
What
ain't
does
never been
teleport
beat,
got to do
huh?
with that?
Y'all ain't never been beat. I will knock you into next week, boy.
You're a fucking engineer.
You must have come from a good household.
Y'all ain't
Very
watched
lovely.
Jeopardy before?
All right, Brendan, come on. You got.
All right,
you have the con.
You know what? We haven't done Rosa Parks, I don't think. Rosa Parks for 1,000.
Things black people don't do.
Parks for 1,000.
Something gross.
Technical difficulty on that one.
You gotta make something up.
I am.
We'll just go to Rosa Parks for 800 then.
Okay. Your mama is not this.
Charles
That was
said.
me.
Chuck.
What is your little friend?
No.
I think Damon actually had
Wait,
that.
wait, wait, wait.
It's your friend, your little friend,
What is?
one of your little friends.
Yes.
Okay, well.
That's real. I ain't gonna lie. This is real.
Yeah, I heard that millions of times.
I'm gonna go with bring the potatoes. No, I'm gonna go back with drag for 800. Are we still at 8? Drag.
Hashtag
Drag for 800. Hashtag drag for 800.
She's proven that she really is a clueless dame. Brennan.
You got it.
Oh, Stacey Dash. Who is Stacey Dash?
Do you at a time?
Who is that? What are you talking about? Who is Stacey Dash? You better get this to me.
You would have been
That could
gone
be a lot of people.
on real
If it's
Jeopardy.
not Stacey Dash, that could be a lot of people.
It's the Dame card. Stacey Dash,
Clueless.
right?
Dame.
It's the clueless
All right.
part, man.
Clueless dame.
Clueless
Dame
Dame.
Dash.
David Dash. That's all I got.
Catch Me Outside for 600.
When it's missing, you take its place. Chuck.
What is the remote?
Correct.
Damn.
So you got beat a lot of damn child.
No, I'm just good at Jeopardy.
Gentpardy.
Let's go with Rosa Parks. Oh, is Rosa? You got the category fixed? Let's go with Rosa Parks for whatever.
1,000.
800,000.
Well, the 1,000 isn't.
800.
Max
We
out.
already did 8.
6.
7.
6. It's their damn job. Why do I have to do this anyway? Chuck.
I don't know.
Can you repeat the full question, ma'am?
It's their damn job. Why do I have to do this? Brennan.
What are cleanup what janitors are supposed to be cleaning up?
Sir, no.
What kind of hierarchy do you walk through? Boy, walking through life looking down on everybody.
I'm gonna say what is any job that's not mine.
No.
I don't understand this category.
I don't either.
I don't get it.
These are things that black people don't do.
It's their damn job.
Why do I have to do this?
I don't know. What's the
What's
answer?
the answer?
In my household growing up, we had to do every goddamn thing. So
Okay, nobody's gonna guess?
Yeah.
All right, what is tip?
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's stereotypical.
stereotype.
Boom, man. Boom.
I
I
All right,
reject
it's
that.
back to
What kind of racist ass?
Wait a minute. I want to
Did
go.
Trump send you
I want
that?
to go back to who said.
Who said
said
it?
for whatever the next largest amount
200.
is. All right.
200.
This is the last one in the category. Okay, who said that? He gonna cry in the car. Shut.
Who is Smokey and Friday?
Correct.
That boy's good, but y'all lucky I'm tired, bro. For real.
Yeah.
Well, you just bad. I'm tired.
We all fucking work, bro.
Let's go back to bring the potato salad for the whatever the highest.
These are
amount
white
is.
people we would bring to the
Yeah.
party. All right.
Bring the potato
We got
salad.
every. You want the highest?
Whatever the highest
So
is.
1,000. Bring the potato salad. His contribution to hip hop is Fresh to Death. Quentin.
Who is Eminem?
No.
Who
I
is?
was next.
Who is? No.
No.
I was
No.
next.
I pressed at the same time too. Who is Vanilla Ice?
No.
Oh.
Sir, you ought to leave the fucking room after that answer.
You
Who's
just
not
as
gonna
wrong.
bring Vanilla Ice to the
You're
cookout?
just as wrong.
Who is Rick Rubin?
Correct.
Who is that?
Who the fuck is Rick
The
Rubin?
co-founder of Def Jam.
Oh.
This nigga
So?
can't come to the cookout. I know who
Right. We don't even know you. You can't come unless you got credentials.
I know.
Ruben is.
I don't know.
Like this.
Who is Rick Rubin?
Shit.
You mean to tell me over Eminem? Come on, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the founder of Def Jam.
Eminem can
man.
fucking throw the cookout.
All right. What's the next one?
Terrible. Take me back to hashtag drag
For 6.
for 6.
And what's this again?
Celebrities
Don't worry
on
about it. You ain't gonna
Twitter,
get it.
Okay.
This is a picture of him. Her family.
I was
Who
first.
was first?
Who is the Kardashians?
No.
Who?
Wait, let me read the question.
Okay.
Jenner.
Her family is responsible for stealing the souls of multiple black men. Who is this chick? Brennan.
Who is Kylie Jenner?
Correct.
What?
You said who are the Kardashians? That's
They ain't
Kylie
invited
Jenner.
to the
That ain't
cookout.
even-
They out here stealing
That
songs.
wasn't even
That wasn't. That was
category.
drag. Hashtag drag. See, so you were angry for no damn reason. Shit.
Playing my
The
role.
board is yours.
Um, What we got in Mama Say, Mama Saw?
We have 1,004 and 2.
Get
We
that
might
dollar.
as well go for that.
Go for that
For that
dollar.
$100 grand, baby. Let's go.
If you want a Happy Meal, you better have this.
What is McDonald's money?
Correct.
Why do I feel like you done said this to your own kids?
I'm
Though?
telling you around here. I say it right now.
All right, check. The board is yours.
What y'all want?
I don't know.
Let's go with Rosa Parks
For 4.
for 400.
Things that black people don't do.
Yeah.
Okay.
The super woke crowd avoids this because it came over on ships. Brennan.
What is common sense?
No.
What is swim?
Yes. Chuck.
Super Bowl crowd also avoids common sense, though. I feel like both of those should have been acceptable.
Hashtag drag.
For 4, sir.
No.
4.
Yeah.
His auntie would be disappointed to know that he claims to love black women but hasn't been seen with any. Brennan.
Who is Kanye West?
No.
Damn.
His auntie would be disappointed to know that he claims that
Who is Michael B. Jordan?
correct.
Hey, Auntie, Black Panther.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good little clue, though.
That's a good one.
That's a good clue.
That's a good one.
That's good.
All right.
I feel like Kanye had an ad somewhere.
That
though.
sounds like that one hit you in the soul a little bit.
I ain't never seen with black women.
He sure has.
Videos.
David, the board is yours.
So what's good on Catch Me Outside?
You have 400.
400.
It is a longer.
What is extension cord?
Correct.
My mama said mine.
We
I was gonna go with ruler.
we see, sir.
All right.
You ain't gotta
Guys,
live
the
in
board
fear
is
no more.
yours.
He don't.
You said what's left?
Yeah.
You got bring the potato salad for 8, 6, or 4. Hashtag drag for 200. Rosa Parks for 2.
Hashtag drag for whatever the highest is.
This blue-eyed woke brother was every black woman's.
Who is Jesse Williams?
Correct.
Wait.
You said.
Oh, it's hashtag drag. It doesn't have to be white people.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought the same thing.
got
Yeah,
drug.
I'm tripping.
All right, Chuck.
Who said for whatever the highest amount is?
That's a phone.
Oh, there.
Potato-
All right.
potato salad.
I don't want that one.
We got-
Yeah, let's do potato salad. Why not?
We got 8, 6, and 4.
8.
His invite was temporarily revoked for flashing a nipple and throwing it under the bus.
Who is Justin Timberlake?
Correct.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Janet Jackson, bro.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, okay. He flashed his nipple.
What? Why would he leave? Why would he get kicked out for flashing his own nipple, sir?
Why would he flash the first?
I would kick a motherfucker out my man out my house for flashing this goddamn nipple. What you doing?
Do we have any more Mama Say, Mama Saw?
We have 2 more. We have 4 and 2.
Let's get 400. Mama Say, Mama Saw.
Start the waterworks unnecessarily, and she'll give you this.
What is something to cry for? Something to cry about.
What is something to cry about?
I said that.
You can't fix it after the fact.
No.
You can. They do it on Jeopardy all the time.
No, they do not.
Y'all trash.
Stay ready to be ready.
All right. Mama say for whatever.
200. Okay. Don't make her have to do this. Chuck.
Take you outside.
Nope. Brennan.
Don't make me have to say that again.
Nope. Ryan.
Make me tell your daddy.
Nope.
Get my belt.
No. Quinn, you want to get?
He like, well, damn, all those things is not what
All
I
those
said.
things, yeah.
Some country watch this.
Oh, I know it. Do I get another chance if we get it wrong?
Don't make me whoop your ass.
Let me go.
Wait.
Ain't
Don't
no.
make me have to come in there.
That is it, but you can't get the point.
Bam.
All right, so we got 2 left on Bring the Potato Salad and 1 left on Rosa Parks. Whose board is it?
I forgot. Was it mine?
I think it was me.
It was Brendan.
No, I think
It was me. So
Yeah.
what's left?
Rosa Parks for 2 or Bring the Potato Salad for 4 and 6.
I need to do bring the potato salad for 6.
He's a white black Irishman with all the power.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No. What?
It's a white.
Boy,
He played an Irishman. In
It's white people.
It is the dude from Power. Who is the dude from Power?
Social card.
No.
Who is the dude from Power?
That's, what did you say?
You said the
He
real
said the
name?
right.
I
He
said
said
the
the
real
real
name.
name.
Okay.
He got it right. He got it
Come
right.
on.
Well, the answer is who is Tommy.
Yeah.
I said his real
So you
name.
just gonna bite off my answer like that?
No, because I
He
figured
got
out,
it.
aside from you, you didn't say anything. By the time
So I said a whole
They could be
answer.
fictional characters.
I gave
What's
the
Power?
dude. Who is the dude from Power?
No, listen.
No.
You beat me to it, and then when y'all realized you didn't know what the fuck you're talking about, then I buzzed you. Totally different
But I
from biting
said,
from you.
all right, whatever.
Finish it.
All right,
up.
Rob, we got Bring the Potato Salad for 4 or Rosa Parks for 2.
Potato for 4.
This Houston-based rapper.
That was me. Who was Paul Wall?
Correct.
Come on, man. That's such a. You started this Houston rap. That's so weak.
Couldn't anybody.
you was an angry man.
You was looking for Bubba Sparks, sir?
Mike Jones.
Who are you looking
All right.
What is a hater?
We only have 1 clue left on the board.
Okay,
This is a Rosa Parks 200.
let's get it.
Black people need to be damn near dead before they go. Chuck,
What is go to the hospital or the doctor?
you can.
Who go to the hospital? What is go to the hospital?
What is go to the doctor?
Yes.
Y'all some haters, man. That's not how the game is played. Y'all some haters.
Jensen's played.
All right.
All right, so now we're
still
on to double,
won.
right?
I won by
All right, so we got the categories in double Jeopardy, Premier Negro, Ain't We Lucky We Got 'Em, Done Son, Let the Beat Hit 'Em, Coiffed and Sophisticated, and Stop It Becky.
Okay. So the categories mean Premier Negro is black people who were the first to do it, whatever. Ain't We Lucky We Got 'Em, black TV shows. Done Son, black people were done with. Let the Beat Hit 'Em, 90s R&B. Coiffed and Sophisticated, hair and hair care. Stop It Becky, things white people should stop doing. Everybody got it?
Everything.
Got it.
Hair,
Stop doing everything.
hair and hair care?
Hair and hair care. You should be an
So you
expert.
should.
sir.
What is Can 2?
You should be
What is As I Am? I'm about to just
What
name
is Sponge?
All right.
No.
Blue Magic.
done, son.
Who got the last one? Oh, did I? I did. Okay. What'd you say? Ain't We Lucky We Got 'Em? Was?
That is TV shows.
All right, we're going. Ain't We Lucky We Got 'Em for 400.
$2,000.
What black TV shows?
In 1980, this cable network channel premiered.
What is BET?
Correct.
All right. I like this. Ain't We Lucky We Got 'Em was that for 800?
In 1983, this. Wait a minute. Yeah. Wait, hold on.
I got 2 guesses right now. I'm ready for it.
1983. Okay.
I got 2
one.
guesses ready for it.
Man, we on air.
I know, there's technical difficulty with that one.
All right, real quick, this or that. Moesha versus the Parkers.
Why we even discussing this?
I didn't watch either one of them, so I don't know. I would say Moesha though.
I like the Parkers.
Didn't Moesha lead to the Parkers?
It did.
So I would say Moesha then. You can't one without the other.
But you can still compare them.
I mean, Moesha.
Ridiculous.
She was a progenitor.
I would have said.
I was outside hooping when them shits was on TV.
You never seen me in the first place.
All right. Key and Peele versus In Living Color.
Living Color.
Who made this?
Living Color.
Key and Peele versus Living Color.
All right.
Man, slap yourself in the face.
Fantastic though.
Sister versus Half and Half.
Sister.
What the fuck is half and half?
Half and half.
That's the girl with the crinkly hair, and the other girl
Listen, man.
that doesn't age at all.
Do not disrespect Essence Atkins, man, and Rachel True.
We know you love her.
All right. Set It Off versus Dead Presidents.
Dead President. Come on.
I agree. I go with Dead
Set it
Presidents.
off.
Dead
Set it
President.
off.
I'm going with set it off.
Set it off.
All right.
Set it off.
That's an actual good one.
Roots versus Shaka Zulu.
Shaka Zulu.
I would go with Roots on this one.
Man,
I kind of like
That gotta
Shaka.
be the
I
most
like Shaka Zulu.
depressing.
But Roots
depressing one
changed
ever.
everything. Roots.
All right. 5 Heartbeats versus Temptations.
Five
That's a hard
heartbeats.
one.
5 heartbeats,
Always
man.
gonna prove my love.
Yeah.
5 heartbeats.
I gotta fight every night to prove my love.
Nobody was colder than Eddie Kane in that aluminum foil suit.
Nights like this.
Y'all ready?
We
School Days versus Lean on Me.
lean on
me.
Shut up.
I would go with School
You smoke
Days.
crack, don't you?
I would
How
go
many
with School
smoke
Days.
crack?
You can call me crazy.
Don't fuck around with it. Do it expeditiously.
New Jack City versus Boys in the Hood.
New
Boys
Jack
in the
City.
Hood.
New Jack
Boys
City.
in the Hood. CMB.
Boys in the
CMB.
We all we got.
But boys, but
Nah.
All right.
Ricky!
Poetic Justice versus Love Jones.
Love Jones.
Love Jones.
Okay.
Poetic
All right.
Justice.
You would have said Poetic Justice? All right. 12 Years a Slave versus Amistad.
Amistad.
I would go with 12 Years a
Amistad.
Slave.
Amistad, man.
Just confession, I still haven't seen 12 Years a Slave.
And you gonna say Amistad?
I read
when
the
you
book.
see it. I read the book too.
I'm so
Yeah.
Can't even believe we even.
I read the book.
All right. Last Dragon versus
Last Dragon.
versus I'm gonna get
Last
you.
Last
Dragon.
Dragon.
I'm gonna get you sucker, man. I'm gonna get you sucker, man.
You got changed for 100. Come on, I'm gonna get you sucker.
I'm gonna get you sucker.
I mean, Show Enough was awesome though, but last
Sir.
time, I'm sorry, I'm
Man,
gonna
you
get sucker.
you bugging out, bro. I don't know what you
Leroy Green, the master.
Jeffersons versus Good Times.
Good times.
I'm sorry.
I
I
got
want to be on
Jeffersons.
the east side.
I'm Jefferson all the way. All
I'm
day.
gonna just the vibes.
Hey, listen, here's another question. It's got nothing to do with that, but let's estimate the wealth of George. How much money do we think George Jefferson had back then to be living on the east side? He had the deluxe apartment. He had
$100,000
7
a year.
stores. He had 7 cleaning stores.
Man, that man
he
had
was
that
getting
bill.
bread, right?
He was getting
Drake- it
millions.
was
Upper East Side,
Drake
yo.
He was
Upper
getting
East Side of the
seven-
You think he had millions?
The equivalent today, yes, he had millions.
Come on, man.
in the
I don't know
70s.
about
Come on.
Remember he
owned dry
bought?
cleaners.
Yo, remember he bought Lionel the $300 watch?
I don't know
In
about
He
that.
owned dry
1970s?
cleaners, man.
All right, we'll move on to some actors and actresses. All right. Y'all may not know who these people are, so if you have a question, then ask me. Don Cheadle versus Giancarlo Esposito.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Yes, because he's black.
You know Giancarlo.
So is Giancarlo
Esposito.
Esposito.
Actually,
So that's new from Breaking Bad. The one, the
School
dude
Days.
who got his face
School
blown off
Days.
of him.
and
I
Fresh,
gotta go with Don.
Fresh,
I gotta go-
Fresh
hard.
School Days.
Fresh, yeah,
Don
that's
Cheadle.
hard, man.
Don Cheadle,
I'm gonna rock
man.
with Don
Devil in the
Cheadle.
blue dress.
Yeah,
I would go with Don
Mouse.
Cheadle.
Yeah.
But
classic.
Earl the
I'ma
Goat
go with-
Manigault.
so
Man,
you so damn loud for no reason.
That's actually a tough one.
That's
I know
tough.
it is. All right.
I'm gonna go with Don.
All right, here we go. Lawrence Fishburne versus Sam L.
Lawrence.
Sam L.
Lawrence.
Sam L has the most movie.
L.
I would
Yeah.
say Lawrence
has one movie.
because Lawrence to me is a
Patience.
better
Better
actor than Samuel L.
Samuel has had more #1 movies.
Sam L.
That's
more
fine.
grossing than any
That's
of them.
fine. But I'm talking about acting
probably
ability
done
alone.
more.
Lawrence Fishburne blows Samuel L. Jackson out the water.
You know, remember I'm a crackhead. That was a classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hoodlum.
But I also remember
Lawrence Fishburne and
Snakes
Hoodlum.
Off the
Hold on,
Plane.
what?
But Lawrence
Who the
Fishburne-
fuck is this asshole?
Yeah,
All
Please
right.
refrain from using any further obscenities in the presence of these people.
All right, here we go. Old school. Old school. Sidney Poitier versus Harry Belafonte.
Sidney Poitier versus everybody.
Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
Sidney Poitier.
Harry Belafonte really only had 2 roles. I really
right.
like.
Guess who won that?
Will Smith versus Denzel.
Denzel.
Will Smith.
Denzel.
Hands down, Will Smith.
Hands
up,
hands down.
Hands side to side.
See, here's the thing. Y'all love Denzel simply because his name is Denzel. Denzel plays
Denzel
the
steal
same.
a woman from you in the
Denzel
past,
plays
man.
the same
ridiculous.
motherfucking man in every single
You're
movie.
ridiculous.
Denzel in the Wild Wild Magnificent Seven played a Bronx nigga in the cowboy hat. Come on now.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Stop it.
I don't care. Will Smith is the only one out of the two of them that transforms himself.
You would say goodbye to Malcolm X. I mean, that Denzel Washington.
Who said you had to take one away? I'm saying
So
who's better?
who had a better biopic? Muhammad Ali versus X.
Hurricane? Oh, you said X.
Ali
Or
versus
Hurricane.
Or Hurricane. Let's just keep going.
I think Ali.
Oh, you know, you by yourself.
Jamie
Foxx
Ali.
was better than Ali than Will
Jen-
Smith was.
yo,
First of
Chill
all, Jamie
out.
Foxx was
All right.
fantastic. His
All right, here's
that
one.
was amazing.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, I know that.
She was
Versus-
help. What the hell is wrong with you?
Do I care?
I'm new
Yeah.
to
You
history.
don't say his name, get it
All right,
right.
whatever. Versus
One of your Nigerian brothers.
Juban Honsu.
Digimon Hansu.
Javon Hansu.
No.
I take two.
She would tell a
I
G4.
take two.
She would tell a
I said
G4.
DJ.
Only because you only saying it because he's been in the game longer, but that man is a better actor
Yeah,
than
two tells
Digimon.
better.
DJ.
Next one. Keith David versus Delroy Lindo.
Keith David, my brother.
Delroy Lindo all day.
David.
Keith David is the one who breathes every time he talks. And I'm gonna tell you, he's on
You don't like the
Greenleaf.
way he talks. Keith
Because he
David.
can't act.
Yeah,
If you
way
can't,
more
if you
right.
can't change your breathing, my nigga, you don't have a chance to be on
So,
TV.
man,
He's
listen,
a dude
man.
Greenleaf. He
Keith David
breathes
hopped
through
on one
everything.
leg and robbed.
Delroy has literally been in everything, anywhere. Like y'all don't know how
Delroy
much
plays
he's
the
in
same
it.
character also.
No, he doesn't.
He does like almost.
He was
like
on
First Blood
was it not
category?
Suits? He's on The Good Fight now.
He actually played a
He's
husband
very
gangster
good
in
in
X.
Good Fight. Good Fight.
And
He's
X.
great in
Hell
The
of a
Good
gangster.
Fight.
Yeah.
All right, Blair Underwood versus Shamar Moore.
Blair
Yeah,
Underwood, the fuck
come on,
out.
man.
I'm not here to
Why you been
participate
bringing
in this.
Shamar?
Are y'all
out of
kidding
here?
me?
That
Criminal
lean-ass Tyler
Minds
Perry
and
ass
this new
motherfucker.
shit. No, he's not on that shit. Like the shit he's doing at Criminal. He was on Criminal Minds for like 9 years.
Shamar Moore
And
is wet.
he also he
Damn
does a good
cornrows
job
he
on
had
He's
stuff.
a cornball
Get
in
out
every
of
role
here.
he plays.
He doesn't. He's
He's a cornball.
The worst
His cornball in this place.
Y'all tripping.
Shamar Moore is disqualified for putting that wig on in the Tyler Perry movie.
So,
Yes.
do you have any women on this list?
Yes, we're moving to the women right now. Y'all ready?
Still.
All right. Alfred Woodard versus Viola Davis.
Viola.
Ooh, that's
shit.
tough.
Viola Davis.
Oh, so
That's
think.
hard. That's hard.
For her meme alone,
Alfred has
Viola
a bigger
Davis.
body of work.
Alfred does have a bigger body. I think Viola Davis is a
has
better actor.
a better actor, for
Yes.
sure.
Ah,
Oh, man,
Davis.
that's hard.
I would
Viola
go-
Davis because Alfred Wood, I don't like her acting style.
I would go with Viola simply because of all that snot she was able to act on cue in Fences. Like that shit. Did you see the snot?
Go to the next
All
category.
right, whatever. All right, ready?
Nerd talk about somebody snot. Look at your hair.
Sir, let me introduce you to a product called Jergens. So, all right. Tisha Campbell versus Tracy Ellis Ross.
Tracy Ellis
Tracy
Ross.
Ellis Ross.
Really?
Tisha Campbell.
Tisha Campbell's best role in Little Shop of Horror.
She's on Martin.
She had Martin.
My wife and kids, though.
Yeah.
Was
You
it?
can't
That's what
my
I'm
wife
saying.
and kids. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
In
Come on, House Party.
House Party was, yeah.
She wasn't. She didn't play a prominent role either. in that
But still, she was very impactful.
good.
I don't think she's as good now.
All right.
I'll take Tisha.
There's a reason why I put this one together. Maybe y'all will get this one. Halle Berry versus Vivica Fox.
Halle Berry.
I knew y'all was gonna say that bullshit.
Nah.
Vivica Fox and Halle Berry. How?
I'll take Viv.
Yeah.
Okay, run down Vivica body of work.
I don't care. She's a better actress. Halle Berry is not good.
Really? So Boomer. Let's go down. Iconic role. Boomerang.
It could have been anybody.
Could have been
pretty.
How about
pretty?
How about the role she played with the old boy?
Raising Isaiah.
No, not Raising Isaiah was good too.
That's the only thing she really had.
No, Monsters Ball.
Terrible.
That's anybody
That's
could have been a
white-ass
hoe
movie,
in
period.
Monsters
We
Ball.
can talk
Yeah,
about
no.
that. That's a terrible movie. She was terrible. in it.
What
She
has
won
Vivica
Academy
Fox
Award.
done that anybody else can't do? She hasn't expressed some wide
took
range.
Trey Fury.
We ain't talking about anybody else. We're talking about two people
Yeah, but
comparing
everything you
contracts.
said about Holly, you're saying like anybody
She
did
took
that.
Trey
Vivica
Fury.
hasn't done anything worthwhile.
right.
It was in Independence Day, and that's it.
All right, here's the next one.
Minute more. Two play that game is better movie than all that shit.
Oh, the live video is ended anyway. But whatever.
Yeah, it is kind of late, man. It's like 11 o'clock.
I don't know because it said this live video was ended.
Oh, it was a black magic.
What did you over there doing? How you did not know this?
Mine's still going.
Mine's still going too. Still
Oh, well, maybe it's mine.
Yeah.
But whatever. All right.
Baps.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome
All
back.
right.
Black magic for
In fact, it still is.
Gabrielle Union versus Taraji Henson.
Taraji Henson. Stop
Gabrielle
it, five.
Gabrielle is very
Knock it
Gabrielle
off.
Union.
B. Knock it off.
Gabrielle.
All right. Thandi Newton versus Kerry Washington.
Kerry
Andy
Washington.
Washington.
I would go with Thandi.
And Newton.
Only because of Beloved.
Kerry Washington's a much better actor.
Kerry
than
Washington.
Kerry
It's-
Washington.
What?
I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
You remember her in
I'm not
Crash?
saying Thandi was
Crash, she
better
was
than
man.
actress.
No,
I didn't
you
say
were
she was a
better.
better
You
actress.
tripping.
I'm saying Kerry Washington's a better actress than Thandi Newton.
We're right. Womp womp. All right, here we go.
Y'all foolish.
Octavia Spencer versus Jada Pinkett.
I tell
Who
you.
was Octavia
The
Spencer?
fat girl in
Jada Pinkett. She's an actress.
Okay, the woman, the black fat one. I don't know.
She
Big
won,
boned it?
She won the Oscar. The Oscar award-winning actress who won for.
So
her
why you
role
asking me who the hell is
as
Octavia
Minnie.
Spencer?
You
then?
did that.
Shit.
God, why you got to go to fat all the time?
Because
she was Minnie in the Help,
In the help?
and she won an
Oh, I
Oscar.
know you're talking about her versus who?
Versus what did I say? Jada Pinkett.
Jada.
Her.
I tell you this.
Jada.
Yeah, Octavia.
I would say Octavia.
I got
Yeah,
Jada.
Jada best role is Shane. Low down dirty Shane.
No, that's a good
Low down
role.
dirty Shane.
Jada had a TV show that was really good. Jada has a lot of range. She's got a lot of range.
Stop. Hawthorne was terrible.
Hawthorne, she was.
All right, I
good.
don't feel like this is worth this much energy.
All right. All right, this is the battle of the Negro spirituals. Cicely Tyson versus Diane Carroll.
Cicely Tyson.
Cicely Tyson. She played Machine Pittman, bro.
She's still fine.
Shit, so is
Diane Carroll fine, boy. Oh my God, that's a beautiful woman.
Cicely Tyson, man.
I gotta go with Cicely on this one because like she's the epitome of an old Negro spiritual.
You can't abstain. I
But
gotta
Diane
pick one
Carroll,
of
so
those.
she was a beautiful woman.
In alphabetical order.
If you could give slavery a face, I put it on Cicely. But anyway, all right,
Are y'all ready for Double Jeopardy?
yes.
Sure.
All right, double jeopardy. Here we go.
You ain't got nothing on there?
Got 16%.
All right, we got to run through these kind of quickly.
So do all thousands. What's the first one you said?
Let's do all the big
Premier
categories.
Negro?
Premier Negro.
Premier Negro fourth. No, that's not what I said. I wanted Ain't We Lucky We Got Him. Which one was that again?
We already did
That's
like
the
two of those.
TV shows.
No, we haven't done it
Yeah,
yet.
Ain't We Lucky We Got Him for
Yes, we
2000.
did.
Ross and Rachel. Get Out. Chuck.
What is Living Single?
Ross and Rachel.
He was thinking Friends.
No.
He was thinking Friends.
Okay. Continue with Ain't We Lucky We Got Him for whatever the next highest award is.
Check it out. Check it out.
Left to the right.
Potpourri. Just give me the highest question you can get
This
to.
Ivory Way ushered in Fly Girl. Like Chuck.
Who is, what is In Living Color?
Correct.
Fly Girls.
Which would have been what's her name? Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Ivory Way.
J-Lo.
Ain't We Lucky We Got Him for
What?
whatever.
For 400. This show introduced a junkie duo that brought Chuck.
What? Oh.
Time.
Is it Key and Peele?
No.
Junkie dude.
Do you want me to finish?
Yes.
Yeah.
This show introduced a junkie duo that brought in edgy racial humor that would make Elizabeth proud.
That didn't help y'all, did it?
I know exactly what it is.
Well, you should have waited.
I'll tell y'all. If y'all give up, I'll tell that.
Oh,
blame my mama.
Sanford and Sons?
What?
Sanford and Sons? What is Sanford and Sons?
Yes.
I blame my mama
Wrong.
for not having cable.
How's that
Wrong.
a junkyard?
What is
junkie?
Sanford and
Okay.
Son? You would have got kicked off of Jeopardy.
Whatever, I get it though.
All right, go ahead.
Boy, yours. We're done with Ain't We Lucky?
No, y'all done with that. Let me get Premier Negro for the max.
And these are Negroes who did it first.
Yes.
All right.
Not
Ray
just,
J.
Not, not just another token black guy. This political Superman went against type to become the first black chair of the Republican National Committee. Right.
Who is Steele?
Nope, sir.
No, I said no. It was Charles was next.
Steele? Is that Steele?
I thought it was Michael Steele. Who is Michael Steele?
That is.
I said.
You said you have to say who is Michael Steele. You said
Yeah.
She's right.
The rules is the rules.
Them the rules.
Right, you
Let
should
the beat
protest
hit him
this
for
shit.
2,000.
You should flip the table over or something.
What's next? Come on now.
Let the beat hit him for 2,000.
This United Colors of Benetton group made you want to TikTok and not stop.
What is? Who are Color Me Bad?
Correct.
You get it out of us.
Quaff and Sophisticated for 2,000.
What's Quaffin' Sophisticated?
Don't worry about it.
Hair. You said for 2,000?
Yep.
Brennan smiling.
Well, Charles ain't gonna get none of this shit.
Okay.
Okay, this is the bane of many men's existence.
What is Cantu?
This is the bane of many men's existence in laying with their
Oh shit! I know what it is.
no. Right.
style.
You already got that.
What
You-
is a bonnet?
Yes.
Silk bonnet.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I hate that shit with a
Fucking hate
passion.
bonnet.
I like
This
that.
shit- This shit should be illegal, bro.
Feel like I'm sleeping with a field hand.
Terrible.
Okay, Rod, the board is yours.
Let's finish that category up with the next one.
To keep your hair long and luxurious or neat and sweet with little to no effort, you can do this. Chuck.
What is wear weave?
Brennan.
No, actually, Dana.
What is a protective style?
Correct, sir.
What is a what?
Sir,
Protective
Protective
style.
style.
sir, leave the room. Leave the room.
All right, let's go with Done Son for Max.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's that?
Dunson, or black people we're done with.
Okay.
This pubic hair wielding justice. Chuck.
Who's Clarence Thomas?
Correct.
Oh my god.
Let's finish that one out.
Done son for the next highest amount.
Okay. This former child star should have seen the future and known that she couldn't.
Who's Raven Simone?
Correct.
Damn, that's
Done
good.
son for the next highest amount.
What y'all got against sports?
You wasn't gonna get that either.
Yeah, you're right, sir. This modern day lobotomist turned student politician.
Oh,
Who is you got it because I forgot.
Who is Ben
Magic
Carson?
Hands. Yep. I was like the magic hands dude. Gifted hands.
coiffed and sophisticated for whatever.
Boy's in love with his hair.
This 90s look was made possible by this. Brennan.
What are dookie braids?
No. This 90s look was made
shoot
possible by
yourself.
this humping around star.
What is the gumbo?
Correct.
I shoot Bobby Brown, baby. It was actually on style.
Let the beat hit him for the next highest amount.
What's that?
Music.
Sports and music.
90s hip hop.
Oh, 90s hip hop.
Just on one
Well, it ain't gonna be no hip hop, but
You don't know.
yeah, I do know.
For 16, this New Jack Swing era trio made sure.
Who's guy?
No.
Oh.
Made sure we were so into them.
Oh, okay.
SWV.
Yep.
What is
Yep.
SWV? Who is SWV?
Nigga said who, where, and how.
I forgot SWV was New Jack Swing. Actually, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, Quentin, the board is yours.
He not used to
Stay
this
with the
position.
music.
Let the beat hit him for 1200. This spunky teen loved to see you smile.
Damn.
Who's Trisha Spencer? Oh no!
I was next.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was for me. It was
Oh
for
my
me.
gosh.
You got a
Did you
bunch
know
of
who it was?
Yes.
No, you did.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, wait, you can steal my
Oh.
phone. Tell me who she married.
Bro,
Flex.
He got, hey, give it to this man.
when has he not
Give it to
known
that
the
man.
answer and not
I'm a
just
fair
shouted it
man,
out?
bro. Hey, Quinn, you earned it, bro. Go ahead, ask the next question.
Smile on his face.
The lies! The lies! The
Quinn
lies!
don't never know an answer and not just shout it out.
Keep going with the music. Let the beat hit me.
These sexy ladies made it stylish to give it up and turn it ride.
Who is in vogue?
Yeah.
I'm right. Damn it. I'm right here in front of you. How you not?
You ain't getting it.
Is that category done?
No, we got one more.
Boy, I tell you,
Let's finish it. Let's do it.
that paper brown test is real.
This
That brown paper bag test is real.
Well,
boy.
you-
same color.
Y'all the same.
This
Stop it.
quartet ushered in a new edition of pop sounds. I don't know who that is.
That was me.
That was definitely me.
Who is Boys to Men?
Boys to Men, man. That was definitely me.
That was me, bro.
Well, we know who you ain't gonna give it to.
I said, who is Boys to Men? You
What's
didn't
their
say
first
it.
album?
That's true. He did say who is.
Boys to Men.
I
No,
said
it was not.
That was me.
What was their first album?
Motown Philly.
Philly.
All right,
No.
Chuck, the board is yours.
Shit. That's
Give me Done Son for the next highest amount.
This guy stole my points.
This MAGA supporter should have been in college.
That was me.
I did it.
Oh,
Yes. That would be who is Kanye West.
correct.
I had to say West before you said correct.
Yeah.
You have to say the
Boy, this is cutthroat.
Immediately
Uh,
Kanye East.
Let's do. What is Stop It, Becky?
White people
Stop
gotta
it,
get
Becky.
him.
White people, things they need to stop doing.
Stop It, Becky. For
2000.
no, we'll start low and work our way up on this one.
Okay. Upon encountering a black person with a spectacular,
What is Don't Touch My Hair?
correct.
He got the hair shit down. Anything with hair, he gonna get it.
We'll work our way up. Stop It, Becky.
Okay, 800. When making an obviously racist remark, what type of
What is Don't Say I'm not trying to be racist, but
No. Cite how many black friends you have? Come on, man. Can't be word for word for that shit.
It has to be word for word.
What do you keep reading the question in?
Yeah, I got it. She doesn't want to give me my points.
We'll let the judges decide.
Who are the judges?
Us.
Okay, when making an obviously racist remark while simultaneously trying to make it seem like you're not racist, don't say this.
What is, I have black friends?
It's not exact.
No. What is, I have one black friend.
No. Yes.
Well, I got mine wrong.
No.
Yeah.
I clearly got it in the ballpark.
Why do black people do?
So you can at least fuck with the right like genre answer.
Yeah, I mean,
Get to stepping.
It is, what is some of my best friends are black?
I
Give
give it to Rod.
it to Rod.
Give it to Rod.
Give it to Rod.
Why you so
That's
upset?
how you play the game.
Yeah, you
All right, what's the
on
next
a
one?
real TV show.
So, do we have anything left in Let the Beat Hit 'em?
No, we're done there.
Okay. Stop it, Becky, for the next highest.
When listening to rap songs, you do not.
That was me. What is, say nigga?
Correct.
Damn it, I knew that one too.
All right, seriously.
Just waiting for it to come, huh?
Let me go to Premier Negro for the next highest amount.
Harry Belafonte.
Y'all have y'all hovering, man. Y'all dirty, man. Put y'all pictures.
You can hover too. They literally have their thumb on the buzzer when they
I'm
have
still
to
gonna play a
play.
damn game.
I'm literally using my hand,
Okay.
speed, and intellect.
This crooner didn't live long enough to see a change come.
That was me.
Come on.
Who was Sam Cooke?
Correct.
I'm saying it, but I'm not buzzing. Like,
That's not how.
Because you're not good.
Chuck.
I mean, Chuck is one.
What group was he a part of?
Stop it, Becky, for 16.
When attempting to encourage your black female friend, coworker, stop saying this.
What is, you go, girl?
Correct.
I'm great at trivia.
So I couldn't relate to that at all, but
Chuck.
Yes.
Okay.
Done son for the next highest amount.
We are done with that category.
Okay, Premier Negro for the next highest amount.
This Rainbow Coalition member kept hope alive.
That was me.
I think it was Brandon, actually.
Go ahead, you got it there.
who is the Reverend Jesse Jackson?
Correct.
All right, stop it, Becky. Next one.
done, huh?
I think we got one more, like 2000.
2000.
Okay. When enjoying a meal at a restaurant, stop bringing me.
What is hot sauce?
No, sir.
Sorry.
What is bringing your dog with you?
Yes.
Oh, stop it, Becky. I was thinking, stop it, Tyrone. Damn.
Chuck.
I was gonna say hot sauce too. Guys.
All right, let me get, what else we got? We got any more done son?
We got
What's
Premier Negro and Quaff and
Quaff and
Sophisticated.
Nah, give me the Premier Negro. I don't know nothing about hair.
We can tell.
Yeah.
You don't either.
We can tell.
We can tell. We can tell.
There's some haters in this group.
Okay.
In 1983, this blue-eyed beauty lost her crown for playing the
That was me. Who is Vanessa Williams?
Correct.
And I was born that year.
We'll go with Premier one more
You were
time.
83? Man, one year.
I saw that spread though.
I did two actually. I had two.
I did.
You do it for the culture.
I did it for the
Let me get. Okay, for 400.
I tapped
In
it.
1980, technically, I did this one. This cable network.
That was B.
Can't get nobody no more
It's the
points.
same one though. It's B. What is BET?
All right, then we'll go to, what was left? Quaff?
Yes.
All right, just run it up.
No, he ready. Look,
Okay.
I got this.
This sticky hair staple.
What is gel? Hair gel.
No. Rob.
What is Jerry curl?
No.
Oh, I know what it is.
Hero Buzz lost it. Give it to him.
This sticky hair staple
Pomade.
laid your edges and it also.
I say Blue Magic.
No.
I know.
Y'all want me to finish?
Yes, I would like you to finish it, please.
This sticky hair staple laid your edges and is also a term for your favorite tune.
I know what it is.
Oh,
I know what it is. I should have said it too.
come on, man.
For your favorite
Come
cereal?
on.
You did you
What?
already?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. I thought you said you don't cheat.
He don't know though.
Well, nobody gets it in neither one of
What is
those.
what is
I don't
jam?
know.
Correct.
What is jam?
Yeah.
Jam.
Oh, what?
Damn.
Is that a specific thing?
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Oh, I didn't know that shit. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I should.
Last question. This hot styling tool term.
That was me.
I'm next though.
What is a hot comb?
Yes.
No.
No.
Quentin.
Curling iron. What is the curling iron?
No.
Why don't you keep going?
Go ahead, finish.
This hot styling tool turns sisters' hair from limp.
What is a chi?
No.
What is a flat iron?
Yep.
No.
Ooh, hold up.
What up,
Press? What is a
You want me to
press?
finish reading?
Yeah.
This hot styling tool turns sisters' hair from limp to stylish beach waves. So,
What is a crimping iron?
yes.
But
You
you,
already-
but you already,
Don't
you
get
already.
the points, though.
Nobody get it.
right.
But I still want to be
So
right.
I feel like I won.
I'm not a
You wasn't even close.
I think I'm
The
wrong,
obvious
didn't I?
winner is
Chuck.
Mr. Chuck.
cheated.
Winners win. That's what we do.
That's what years of wisdom gets you, man.
All right.
Winners win.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our time. We have been enjoying ourselves. Hope you have enjoyed yourself on Intelligence, bringing you knowledge with the power to change. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Y'all are dumb.
Appreciate you, bro.
You got some juice?
Just